Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your models and how to set up your minifigures in Blender, plus how to set up the render settings. So, first you want to go to the render properties, change the render engine from Eevee to Cycles, change the device from CPU to GPU. If you don't have a GPU, don't worry, you can still render. In the viewport, uncheck noise threshold. Change the samples to 1000 if you're on a GPU, 100 if you're on a CPU. Then in the final render, uncheck noise threshold, change the samples to 1000 if you're on a GPU and 100 if you're on a CPU. Leave denoise checked. Go to light paths, change the total to 6, the transmission to 6, the transparent to 6. In clamping, change the direct light to 5 and the indirect light to 5. In caustics, uncheck both of the caustics. Go to performance, change the tile size to 256 if you're on a GPU, 32 by 32 if you're on a CPU. What I mean by 32 by 32 is just means 32, but 256 because I'm using a GPU. In the final render, check persistent data. Then go to output properties. 1920 by 1080 is a standard format, which will fill this whole screen if I were to render it. But for that more cinematic look, I do 1920 by 802. For an image, leave the file format as a PNG. Then find a file that you want to put it in. Then go to View Layer Properties, check Denoising Data, and then go over here to Editor Type and change it to Compositor. Check Use Nodes, check Backdrop, then move these two over there and that one, and then add search, and then the second one that shows up should be it. Lens distortion, bring that over here. Check fit, distort 0.02 and dispersion to 0.02. Add search, type in D, and then the first one that shows up, denoise. Bring it over here, put denoising normal into normal, denoising albedo into albedo, and then go back to the 3D viewport, save it by going to File, Save, or the hotkey for that is Control S. And that's it for the render settings. Now, when you import a normal, just a random model into Blender, you can delete the empty, select everything by pressing A, Shift, select the object that you want to parent everything to. Parenting means that if you move that parent object, everything else will move with it. Then you select the parent object, you press Control P, and then press Object. Then if you select only that object, press G, move your mouse around. Then you see that everything moves around. Right click to go back, and that's what you want to do. Then you want to select the object, go to World Properties, download EpicFigRig Scaler. I'll put a link to that in the description. Also, you can read on how to download it. Press Scale Down, and then you'll have your model scaled down. Then you can move it into the position you need and whatever you need to do. Now, for a minifigure, also what I was doing there was pressing Control Z. Now for a minifigure, you want to delete the empty that the minifigure is parented to. Select all the parts of the minifigure. Go download the EpicFigRig and learn how to use it from the video that I link in the description. Press Rig Selected Minifigure, and that's it. Press on the rig, go into pose mode, pose the minifigure how you would like to pose it. What I'm doing here is pressing G and R. Then you can go back into object mode, then you have your minifigure posed. I'll go more into depth into animation in part 4. Now, what you want to do now is add a light. Depending on what scene you have, you can choose different ones. but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to choose area. You can scale it up to about there, as we haven't scaled down the minifigure. To scale the minifigure down, you select the rig, press scale down, go to pose mode, select the master bone, and move him down. Go back into object mode, select the area, scale it to what you want, and position it. Then you want to add a camera, press toggle camera view, go to view, check camera to view, move around in your viewports and position the camera as you like. Uncheck camera to view, then go to object data properties, go to viewport display, change the passive part out to 1 and reposition the camera in your viewport. Then check depth of field, take the focus object, the eyedropper, and put it onto the head for a still image, and for an animation I'll show you that in a future video. Change the f-stop to 0.3. Select a light and put the power up to 1000, or depending on what you have, to a lower or higher amount. Go to this viewport shading to see how it looks. I like that. Render image, and now it will render out. And that is how your image will look. Now for a still image, press image, save, and save it where you need to, and save your image. And that's how you render an image. Next time I'll show you how to do a realistic lightsaber effect in Blender. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.